we could be on the verge of learning a lot more about the origins of COVID. The House could vote as early as today to declassify information that could shed light on whether the virus emerged naturally or if it was leaked. We head to the nation's capital, check in with Doug Luzader to get the very latest. First things first, good morning, Doug.
Lee, good morning. The House actually is voting right now on this, and it looks like they have the votes to move this forward to get to the president's desk. And this is something that reflects bipartisan sentiment.
For as much as COVID may have exposed and enlarged political divisions in this country, both Republicans and Democrats in Congress are likely to vote to tell the administration to release as much information as possible about the origins of the coronavirus.
I believe that they should make as much public as they can so the American people can consider the best available information we have as opposed to marinating in conjecture and speculation and conspiracy theories.
The House has spent much of the week talking about whether the virus emerged naturally or if it was accidentally released from a lab in Wuhan, China. That lab release theory is now supported by both the FBI and the Department of Energy, although without a great deal of certainty. Still, that theory had been extremely controversial at the outset, and many Republicans accused former White House medical advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci of trying to cover up work at the Chinese lab by supporting the idea of natural transmission.
He effectively tried to cover this up. I mean, that is what the documents and the evidence are proving.
It's an assertion that Fauci vehemently denies.
And that circus that went on at the hearing about accusing me of trying to get people to be convinced one way or the other was really very unseemly and had nothing to do with reality.
All right. Now, again, it looks like the votes are there to move this forward to declassify much of this information. And by the way, kind of related topic, in about a half an hour, we expect to hear from the president about this morning's new jobs numbers. Lee.
Doug, one question. Once it is voted on, how quickly could we, the press and the public, see that information?
Well, it's a good question. You know, a lot of this will depend on how quickly the administration, I suppose, wants to do this. You know, a lot of these agencies, particularly the intelligence agencies that have been looking into this, are generally loath to give any of this information out. I suspect they're getting their Sharpies ready to black out a lot of information. But look, this may ultimately be disappointing. Because, you know, the FBI has acknowledged that even though they're leaning toward the idea of a lab leak, they're not saying it with a great deal of confidence. So there may not be a whole lot of information out there.
Doug Luzader from the nation's capital. Have a good weekend, my friend.
Thanks, you too.